Tommy Rees is speaking about Dillon Gabriel and his recent performance at the quarter.
Tommy Rees just went full nuclear, and college football might never be the same again. He didn't just clap back, he detonated a whole playbook of chaos right on top of Dillon Gabriel, leaving fans speechless and analysts scrambling for answers. Somehow, in the middle of all that, he even threw shade at Shedeur Sanders' entire future.
Dillon's toughness really showed through. Like, it got into a tough circumstance there when you play that team, get behind, don't want to make it a one-dimensional game. It's a tough spot to put a young quarterback in. I thought he hung in there, delivered the ball. Other misses, sure. I think pressure obviously can attribute to some of those things.
Like he was rewriting the hierarchy of college football in real time. This isn't sideline drama anymore. This is Reese unleashed, raw, unfiltered, and clearly done pretending to play nice. Buckle up, because this meltdown turned into a full-blown masterclass in controlled madness. The field looked like a battlefield, not a football game. Every snap felt like a group project gone completely off the rails. Dillon Gabriel was back there dodging defenders like they were repo men chasing overdue bills, and Tommy Rees was pacing the sideline, trying to look calm while his blood pressure hit new records. You could see it in his face. The man was one bad play away from turning that clipboard into a weapon, because deep down, he saw it all. The missed throws, the dropped passes, the O-line blocking invisible ghosts instead of defenders, it was pure chaos. And somehow, that rookie quarterback was still upright, barely. 16 hits, 16. At that point, it's not football. It's a contact sport mixed with emotional damage therapy. But here's the wild part. After the game, Reese stood there cool as ice, talking about toughness and growth like everything was fine. Everyone watching knew what that look really meant. It wasn't peace, it was pain. That was the calm stare of a man who just aged 5 years and 4 quarters, trying not to let the world see he's seconds away from exploding again. He was basically saying, look, the kid's out there getting buried alive behind a pocket that's collapsing like cheap lawn furniture, but hey, at least he didn't cry. You gotta give Dillon Gabriel some respect. It takes a different kind of courage to get up 16 times after watching the same left tackle miss the same block in 16 completely new and creative ways. But here's the thing. Reese wasn't just talking football anymore.
Really say about Dillon Gabriel over the next 3.5 hours? Well, he was composed. Great. You know how he conducted himself? He conducted himself how a career backup should conduct himself, where you just hope that you're able to hold down the fort until the regular starter comes back. The problem is, we don't have a regular starter that comes back. Well, we do, but nobody wants to see him. So nobody wants that to happen. So here we have to hope that Dillon Gabriel, a guy who is certainly limited, a guy who's smart enough to probably be a coach in the NFL someday, has to go out there and conduct an offense. And we just little bit. And we have to hope that Quinshon Judkins is able to carry us into the end zone, and we don't have a holding call on it. Because we got 2 guys there who are again replacing another guy who had replaced another guy.
Oh no, he was performing open heart surgery on his own offense. Every compliment so polite, it cut like a blade. When he called the game a tough circumstance, translation, everything fell apart faster than his patience could hold. When he said Gabriel hung in there, what he really meant was, we ran out of quarterbacks, so he didn't have a choice. And when he mentioned those so-called misses, you could hear the silent sigh echoing beneath that coach speak mask. Yeah, there were misses, left, right, center, and one unforgettable throw that somehow hit the receiver's helmet like a warning shot from the football gods. But Reese didn't stop there. Oh no, he turned that post-game presser into a full-blown lecture on quarterback survival. According to him, sacks and hits aren't just an O-line problem. They're a team problem. Everyone's responsible. From the linemen and wideouts all the way down to the poor water boy who didn't hydrate the left guard enough before kickoff. Reese broke it all down like a professor of pain, every syllable dripping with calm frustration. You see, when a quarterback gets flattened, it's not just the line's fault, it's the receivers, the timing, the play calling, the alignment of the moon, maybe even the Wi-Fi signal strength. He spread that blame so evenly you could have buttered toast with it. That's classic Reese, discipline disguised as diplomacy. He doesn't need to scream to make his point.
Third quarter to Harold, and then we missed one to Jerry on an extended play. So just, we want to make sure that we're putting him in those positions to continue to get that work during the week. But all in all, battled, tough circumstance as the game went on. But mentally, I thought he was in the right place for the majority of the game, and did a nice job in a tough environment of communicating to our guys. So, week to week with a rookie quarterback, you're going to build upon, what you do and what you ask of him. So going to keep trending in the right direction with how we.
His calm voice says, "You're one missed block away from running laps till the lights go out." And here's the twist. He actually praised Dillon's poise under pressure. The irony? There was nothing poised about that game. It looked more like a survival documentary narrated by chaos itself. The man got crushed 16 times, but hey, apparently he kept his eyes downfield. Yeah, probably because staring at that pass rush too long would have given him war flashbacks. Still, Reese somehow flipped that into a positive. "Great pocket presence," he said. Sure, if by pocket presence you mean panic with purpose, but beneath all the calm talk and those picture-perfect coach cliches, there was a truth so sharp it cut through every word. Reese was done making excuses. He didn't need to scream it. The frustration was hiding right there between every fake smile sentence. The offensive line was collapsing like dominoes. The receivers were juggling balls like circus interns. And the run game? Gone. Vanished faster than a coach's promise in a losing post-game presser. And speaking of the run game, that's where the comedy really began. Reese pulled out the classic line, "It's important to stick with the run." Of course he said that. Every coach says that when the ground game's deader than dial-up internet. But you could feel the pain dripping from his words, because let's be honest, sticking with a run that's going nowhere is like doubling down on a bad stock just to prove you're not broke. Those first 3 quarters?
Where you were, Dillon Gabriel.
Dillon was playing not to lose. Don't. His whole mantra is don't. I'm not.
Quick question. So you said he's don't. Ain't that a big issue that NFL scouts had with Shedeur is holding the ball, not wanting to turn it over? Because he don't want to make a mistake, so he's holding it. You can't grade him and say he's don't, and he's dope. Let me preface
No, they
this,
hold the ball for 2 different reasons.
But let me preface this. I believe that Shedeur...
A horror movie for running backs. That wasn't strategy. That was stubborn loyalty. The kind of blind commitment that makes you say, sure, the ship's sinking, but we're still rowing. Then came the masterpiece, the balance talk. Reese started preaching about finding that fine line between being aggressive and pressing too hard. Translation? We're pressing so hard the game's pressing back. He said his players just needed to let the game come to them, which sounds poetic until you realize the game was coming at them strapped to a 250-pound linebacker ready to ruin someone's week. Still, he wasn't wrong. The team's been pressing way too much. You can see it in every play. Everyone's chasing a highlight before they even secure the ball. Receivers turning their heads mid-catch like they're already planning their celebration pose, and then boom, ball to the face. That's their new team motto now. Eyes on the prize, hands optional. They saw it on tape. 2 players pressing way too hard, trying to force miracles, chasing that one viral moment like it could save the whole season. It's the classic sickness of a team in free fall.
More funny though, the guy yelling at him to the right or the dude to the left that just can't contain himself, that just wants to interrupt. And look, y'all got mad at me for saying it yesterday. Even people in Cleveland are saying it. He did okay. He managed the game. He got them just enough. The minute that he took a chance at the end of the game, he threw a pick. Got a second chance, and then he went short. Every pass he threw wasn't even over 5.5 yards. That's safe. That's okay. That's taking no chances and relying on everybody else to do that.
They all want to fix everything in one drive, one play, one miracle. But Reese, he's been around long enough to know better. You don't fix chaos with panic, you fix it with consistency. He basically told them, stop playing like you're auditioning for SportsCenter highlights. Play like you've been coached. And buried beneath all that sarcasm and shade was a painful truth. He was right. Because for all the madness, Reese wasn't wrong about one thing. Gabriel handled that disaster like a pro. The man didn't fold, didn't throw tantrums, didn't point fingers. He just kept getting up, over and over, throwing through the pain like it was personal. Even when the defense was blitzing like they were running a buy one, get one free sale on quarterback sacks, he stood tall, or at least tried to. That's when you realize there's a method to Reese's madness. His comments weren't random venting. They were coded messages to his locker room. Reese was saying loud and clear, if our rookie can take 16 hits and still stay composed, then the rest of you better stop dropping passes and pretending to block air. Miami's edge rushers.
I thought he did a good job of standing in there, taking those hits, and playing decent in this game. But now when you look at some of the negatives on film and the things that he needs to get corrected, he's making some throws that you can't make in these type of situations, especially on the road and especially as a rookie on an offense that's struggling to move the football. The Browns are way too predictable on offense right now when it comes to throwing the football. I don't know if he has a high enough ceiling right now to be a franchise starting quarterback in the NFL that you can build off.
I don't think he did enough.
Straight up heat-seeking missiles with helmets. They don't just sack quarterbacks, they delete their confidence, wipe it right off the playbook. And now Reese has to send his young quarterback back into that chaos again, praying the football gods show some mercy this time. You can almost picture him in the film room, hands clasped, whispering under his breath, Lord, if we can't protect the quarterback, at least protect my sanity. But the real pressure, it's not just coming from the defense, it's internal. Because Reese knows the brutal truth of this business. One bad stretch and suddenly the whispers start. One more meltdown and people start asking about the next guy. And that's where the name Shedeur Sanders starts echoing through the walls. Louder every week. The Golden Boy's name hovers like a mirage. Shedeur Sanders, the one everyone whispers about the second a young quarterback starts struggling. It's like clockwork. Fans start buzzing.
I don't think they close though. Like, it got so bad, I had to go back to watch Oregon, right? Just to make sure I wasn't tripping. I watched Oregon and I watched Shedeur. Nobody can tell me that he's better than Shedeur. You can't tell me that.
No, not at Shedeur's
best. You cannot
best.
tell me that.
Not at Shedeur's best.
You can't tell me that.
No.
I watched enough tape and I watched enough football and I know enough to see. When I watch these two dudes, I'll probably watch over 20 games. Just to make sure I wasn't tripping. There's no way nobody that watched both of their films would say he's better than
Analysts start spinning theories and social media turns into a rumor tornado. Meanwhile, Tommy Rees is trying to live in the now, holding the pieces together, while everyone else is already tweeting about the future. Imagine the irony. Dillon Gabriel's getting flattened in real time, and somewhere in the stands someone's posting, you know who'd look perfect in this system? Shedeur Sanders. That's how fast the spotlight flips in college football. One bad drive and suddenly your replacement's trending. But Reese wasn't entertaining that noise, not for a second. His message was sharp and clear. This is about Dillon. Not about potential, not about prospects, and definitely not about the shiny next guy. Because deep down, Reese knows the truth. If this offense doesn't wake up soon, that conversation is going to explode. And let's be real, Shedeur Sanders isn't just a player, he's a headline machine. Every time his name drops, fan bases go full detective mode, connecting dots that don't even exist. But that's the wild beauty of football fandom, isn't it? Everyone thinks the grass is greener until their savior quarterback gets sacked 16 times too. Reese has seen this movie before. He knows how the hype cycle works. It builds you up, breaks you down, and rewrites the story before the final whistle.
I don't see Dillon Gabriel as a quarterback that can elevate an NFL roster. I can't see him making those big plays to win games for NFL teams. Now, if he can prove me wrong. But from what I'm watching and what I've seen and what I evaluate, I don't see a player that elevates a team to the next level. I see a player that can come on and get the job done and what the Cam Newton say, game manager type of aspect, but nothing too special. He could play with a good rhythm, get the ball out of his hand quick, and be very, very effective in
even blows. Still, you've got to give the man credit. He handled it like a veteran chess player. Calm, cold, tactical. He could announce a disaster and somehow make it sound like good news. He said it with a straight face. We got hit 16 times, missed half our reads, and our receivers forgot how to catch, but otherwise it was a productive day. And the craziest part, he made it sound optimistic. That's not just coaching, that's art. Reese wasn't just reviewing tape, he was running a demolition derby in that film room. Every play Dillon Gabriel ran was up for inspection like it was entered into evidence. The tape didn't lie, and Reese made sure nobody in that locker room forgot it. Somewhere between rewinding the same third down throw for the 27th time and sighing like a man who just watched a kicker miss from the 1-yard line, Tommy Rees snapped. This wasn't about patience anymore, it was about principle. Dillon Gabriel, for all his chill Beach Boy composure, suddenly looked like a man reading the wrong playbook in the wrong game. The tension in that film room was so thick you could have spread it on toast. Players were suddenly real interested in tying their shoes, fixing their wristbands, doing anything to avoid eye contact with the storm brewing in Reese's stare. But Reese wasn't doing damage control anymore. He was done protecting egos. He'd spent too many Saturdays explaining why a quarterback who can launch 60 yards downfield somehow can't hit a 5-yard slant without turning it into an adventure. This was the new Reese era. And in this era, excuses expired faster than NIL sponsorships. The message was clear: perform or get out of the way.
Coordinator Tommy Rees, his takeaway from Dillon Gabriel's second start against the Steelers.
Positive plays, maneuvering the pocket, being tough in the pocket. Like walked out of that game, seeing Dillon's toughness really show through. Like it got into a tough circumstance there when you play that team, get behind, don't want to make it a one-dimensional game. It's a tough spot to put a young quarterback in. I thought he hung in there, delivered the ball. Other misses, sure. I think pressure obviously can.
And then, because the college football gods love drama, the topic shifted. You can't talk quarterbacks these days without summoning the headline magnet himself, Shedeur Sanders, the man, the myth, the marketing machine, the guy who can drop one casual comment online and spark a social media earthquake before halftime. And Tommy Rees, already fed up from the Dillon Gabriel roller coaster, he wasn't about to let Shedeur's name just float by without a reaction. He didn't even have to say much, just that deep, tired sigh that only a coach who's seen too many hype videos and not enough blocking tape can make. Everyone in the room knew exactly what that sigh meant. The conversation wasn't supposed to go there.
Cleveland Brown, how do you start Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders? That don't sit right with me. Because no matter what, he gonna fill them seats in. And he actually might give y'all some winning games, or at least exciting games. Every game. How do you not start him? Like, you got rid of Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, from him, I understand that you don't disrespect a Super Bowl winner over no rookie, but
how could it not? In 2025 college football, talking quarterbacks without mentioning Sanders is like talking fast food without mentioning fries. His name just floats in, smooth, unstoppable, and backed by 1 million followers and a sponsorship deal waiting to go viral. The funniest part, Reese wasn't even trying to throw shade. He was aiming for calm and collected, the veteran voice of reason in a locker room full of chaos. But let's be real. When a man just finished ripping into Dillon Gabriel for fumbling reads like a lost tourist with Google Maps, any follow-up sounds like a subtle detonation. Every measured sentence hit like an atomic bomb wrapped in politeness. Half the fans online swore Reese had finally spoken the truth, while the other half were busy decoding which quarterback he secretly respected. Welcome to the college football circle of life, one meltdown away from the next headline. This is the new era. Coaches hanging on to sanity by a thread, while quarterbacks out here turning into lifestyle brands. Everyone's got a logo now, a podcast, a merch line, but Reese, he's old school. He's from that play calling generation that thinks leadership means knowing how to audible, not knowing how to trend. So when he starts dropping lines about futures and what kind of players he believes in, it's not random talk, it's a sermon. A coded message about who's truly coachable and who's just chasing clout. But the internet, the internet had a field day. They twisted every word into a full-blown soap opera. Suddenly, threads were popping up debating who Reese would rather coach, who he'd rather bench, and who he secretly can't stand.
Designed for Dillon Gabriel. If y'all didn't understand or didn't see that, Stefanski made his offense for Dillon Gabriel even when Joe Flacco was the starter. Go back and watch Joe Flacco rolling out when he was the quarterback. Watch him roll out to his left when those plays were designed for a left-handed quarterback. Joe Flacco was right-handed. He should have been rolling out to the right so he could throw the ball to the, on the right side with his right hand. But Kevin Stefanski had Joe Flacco rolling out to the left, which is the same place Dillon Gabriel is rolling out because he's a lefty. So all along, everything was being set up to hand it.
People were out here psychoanalyzing his facial expressions like they were FBI evidence. And honestly, it's hilarious because Reese is giving straight up reality TV energy at this point. Every glare, every sigh, every pause, it's pure entertainment. And just when it couldn't get wilder, someone dug up old practice clips of Dillon Gabriel missing routes, slowed them down, and slapped a black and white filter on top like it was a tragic documentary. The internet exploded, and deep down, you know Reese loves it, because you can't rant that passionately, that publicly, and not secretly enjoy the fireworks.
To break Shedeur Sanders like a wild horse. In my opinion, this is what we had a conversation last week with Shady about conformity. They are trying to get him to conform to what typical NFL quarterbacks that are drafted in a 5th round position are going to do.
Like, they're treating him so bad that hopefully he'll just break. And he'll just be like, you know what? I want out.
Coaches used to vent into headsets. Now they vent straight into history. Tommy Rees basically wrote his own press release with this meltdown, whether he planned to or not. But here's the wild twist. Underneath all that chaos, he wasn't wrong. Dillon Gabriel's inconsistency has been screaming for attention. One week he's the golden arm. The next he's a turnover machine spinning highlight reels for the wrong team. And Shedeur, yeah, he's got talent, tons of it. But football ain't a photo shoot. Reese comes from that old school grind where hype is earned on 3rd and long, not from a pre-game outfit going viral. But make no mistake, this wasn't some wise old mentor moment. This was Tommy Rees tossing gasoline onto the quarterback conversation and lighting it with a grin. And guess what? It worked. The internet went nuts. Analysts, ex-players, and fans dissecting every frame like it was the Zapruder film of college football. Everyone was arguing, debating, theorizing, and then came the knockout punch.
To Shedeur Sanders, I need the praise to be as loud as the disrespect, because the disrespect was ridiculous. He was the 6th quarterback drafted when he was no lower than 2nd. It was Cam Ward and Shedeur. Then suddenly he slides to the 6th in the draft. Missed me with that. He was clearly blackballed, and he clearly has the talent to deliver at this level. I am so happy the Cleveland Browns have Shedeur Sanders. He is 4th in the depth chart, and he is going to be the starting quarterback because he is easily the best quarterback we have. Flacco can start for the first few games because he's the old stalwart, but Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel miss me with that. Shedeur Sanders is my quarterback, and I can expect.
Right when the dust started to settle, Shedeur Sanders dropped another perfectly edited highlight reel on social media like a counterpunch straight from Hollywood. The beats hit, the captions popped, the timing was surgical, pure cinematic revenge. It wasn't just a clip, it was a statement. Shedeur basically said, "Y'all talk, I show." And just like that, the drama loop reset again. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel stayed silent, probably trying to dodge another film room PowerPoint roast from Reese, because after getting torched on tape by your own coach, there's only one move left: throw better and pray next week's game erases the trauma. But Tommy Rees, oh, he was loving every second of it. He wasn't hiding from the chaos, he was basking in it, standing right in the middle of the fire he started, watching college football lose its mind around him. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed this breakdown, and I'll see you on the next one.